Kadosh Boker Or Masechet Bava Kamma Daf Tzadik He Amud Aleph 95A1. We were just speaking about on the two dots. So we're 2, 4, 6, 8 lines down, right, where it says Gazal Para. Okay, so Gazal Para Me'uberet V'yalda. Imagine a person comes and he steals a Para Me'uberet, which means a cow which is going to be pregnant, and then what happens is that it gives birth. Or Rachel, a sheep which has wool, and then he shears it. If you steal a Rachel, a sheep, and you come and you shear the wool, you stole a para and then it give birth, so you have to pay for it, the shearings and the children. These are the words that Rabbi mean. Rabbi Yehuda comes and he says, no, you just give back the exact same way, which means you have to pay the money according to the value of what it was there. Rabbi Shimon says, we're going to look at it as if it's going to be evaluated with gizela in money, okay, and therefore it is going to be given over. So so they're going to ask the following question: my tamad Rabbi mean? What does Rabbi mean say you have to pay for everything? The animal, the shearings, the children. Why? He says because he holds that what? That everything stays in the exact same value, meaning that he doesn't actually acquire it. Well, Dilmar, maybe really bad when you make a shinui, you change something, you acquire it. Here it's a knas, it's a penalty. What's an afkamina? To do with a case where you're doing a shinui maaseh and it's becoming weakened. So tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof then. What is halacha then? Gazal bema v'iskina. What happens if you stole an animal and it became elderly? Or avadim v'iskino, you stole slaves and they became elderly. And therefore, obviously, it's going to go down in value. You're going to pay like the time of the stealing. These are the words, right? That's Tanakama. Rabbi Meir says, by slaves, you can give it back. But by the animal, you have to pay keshat gezela. Okay? So, if you're going to tell me, Savar Rabbi Meir holds, shinui bimkomo med, that it's a shinui going back in its place, afilu be'emanani, so you get an animal. Yeah, but rather it comes out, Kasava Rabbi Meir holds, shinui koneh, shinui does acquire, ve'hacha knasu dekanis, and here it's a knas. Amri, we said in a braita, Amri Rabbi Meir says, Ledivrehem de Rabbanan kamarlu, we're talking about the words of Rabbanan, Ledidi shinui eno koneh. For me, shinui does not change. Afilu be'eman amin, even an animal doesn't also the same thing. Ela ledidchu, but according to you, the amritu shinui koneh, that they say shinui is going to be koneh. Oduli mihat, why don't we say the avda, we're talking about an eved, the kamekarka dame, right? That it's like an eved is like karka, meaning a slave is like a piece of land. The karka and an exelet, and karka is not going to be sold. If I'm Rabbanan will say no. Avda kemetaltal dame, then avadim are considered like metaltalim. So we have to find out then. Why? Because if you're going to tell me eved is going to be like metaltalim, there does exist such a concept of kinyane gizela. So therefore, what's going on then? So the Gemara is going to try to bring another proof. Tashema, imagine right now you came and you gave to a dyer, somebody that's going to dye material. You told him do it red, and he does it black. Black, and he does it red. Rabbi Meir says, all you have to do is you have to give him, he has to pay him the value of the tzeben. Demet samro in, demet samro shvacho lo. He only has to give him the value of the tzeben, of the wool, but not the wool with appreciation value. Now, if you're going to tell me, Savar Rabbi Meir, Shinui and Koneh, he has to give him everything. But rather we learn from here, because Savar Rabbi Meir, Shinui Koneh, ve'hacha, and here, Knas udekakani shmamina. It's a special Knas, and that's what we're learning from here. Fine. Ikadamni, some people say, Haloi Bailan, right? Really, we never had a doubt in this. From the fact that Rav came and he was actually teaching, Gazal para v'iskina, vadim v'iskinu, meshalem kishat gezela. These are the words of Rabbi Meir. That means he has to come and he has to pay keshat gezela for the para and the avadim. Chachamim say, ba'avadim omelo areh shelcha lefanecha. You say, no, here it's yours, right? Vadai Rabbi Meir, according to Rabbi Meir, shinui koneh ve'achan here knas udekakanis. It's a knas. Kikai bailan. So when is a doubt? Achi bailan kikakanis b'mezid. We're talking about b'mezid. Aval b'shogeg, but when it's going to be by accident, lo kanis. He didn't make a knas. Or Dilmar, maybe a few b'shogeg nami kanis. Even if it's going to be b'shogeg also, it's a knas. So Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof. Chamisha govin mina mechurerim ve'eluhen. He says there's going to be 5 balei chov that they collect from nechasim and nechorim. Tovea perot, shvach perot. If you're going to come, you're going to ask for fruits or the appreciation value of fruits. Whether you're going to accept upon yourself to support your wife's children, whether it's the boys or girls, right? They get chov shem bo achrayut, any type of a debt document that does not have any obligations. Uktubat isha shem achrayut, or uktubat isha that does not have any obligations. Man shamaled, who's the one that says achrayut is not taut soferu? It's a bimir. And we still learn perot to shevach perot. Shevach perot, what's the case of shevach perot? How could it be that in the case of shevach perot, right, you're still going to come and you're going to collect it? So we're talking about shegazal sadeh mechavero. You stole a field and you sold it to somebody else, and then it went up in value. And now when it's actually going to be a higher value. So when he's going to come and collect it, right? So the camel bet 95b, goveta keren. You're going to collect the principal from nechasim meshubadim, from fields that are subjugated. But the shevach, but the appreciating value, you could only collect from nechasim benechorim. Because the balakarka could come and say, listen, I went and I was the one that made it go up in value. Okay, and therefore you don't have to pay that. So we're not talking about the Ma'aretz, that he didn't know the karka nigzelet or nigzelet. Fafilu achi, and still karka, kati bal karka v'shakle, he's going to take it away. Ushmamina shogeg nami kanai. So it comes out that even if a person did it b'shogeg, he still has to come and he gets a knas, he gets a penalty. So says the Gemara, no, we're talking about a lokeach, which is a tamid chacham, and he knows the karka is not nigzelet. So when he purchased the karka and it was stolen, and then he came and he appreciated it, he knew that it doesn't actually belong to him, and therefore he actually has to give it back. So since it was a learned person, that's why he has to give it back. So Tashema, we're going to try to bring another proof then. What happens right now if you gave to the dyer, right? You gave him a wool to dye, and you told him it was going to be red, and then it was black and then red. The Bimini says, no, tell Demet Samro, you only have to give him the money of the wool. Demet Samro in, but not the appreciating value. Now, if you're going to tell me that we're going to make a knas also for shogeg, you should give everything. We learn from here b'mezid kanis, b'shogeg lo kanis, that it was only a knas and b'mezid, and not on shogeg. Shema mina. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda says, Gizela chozeret b'einea. When we're talking about gizela, it's going to go back right in its eyes, meaning the way that it is, meaning the way that the actual object is. Rabbi Shimon says, we know takilu shuma etzlo bekesef. We're just going to see how much is the value be'emet in money. What's the difference between them? What's exactly, how do you evaluate this? What's going on? So Amar Razid said, B'shevach shal gabe gezela kamipage. We're talking about shevach, which is going up, but it's still found b'shat hamada bedin. So for example, he stole the para, became pregnant, but it still didn't give birth. Or you stole the sheep, and now it gets the tzemer, it has the wool, but you still didn't shear the wool. So Rabbi Yehuda says that it's nigzalav, it belongs to the person that was stolen from. And Shimon says, no, it's the one that stole it. Because since he stole it and it got into his possession, so it belongs to him. Rav Papa says, according to everybody, Shevach shal gabe gezela gazlan belongs to the gazlan. But here, there's machloket to do with Rabbi Yehuda Savar, Shevach shal gabe gezela kula, that everything belongs to the gazlan. Rabbi Shimon holds the mechzal shishur v'ya the shakli gazlan, which means that he can only take a half or a third or a quarter, according to the ones that accept like the animals. And when you accepted an animal, and then this is happening, how much do you accept? You accept for half, a third. It's like you're taking part of the animal and you're actually, instead of getting paid a salary, you're taking like profits. So therefore, how much is it? It's going to be a half, a third, a quarter. Okay. So now we learned in the Mishnah. Gazal para v'nitabra etzlo yada, rachel v'nitana etzlo guzaza, mishalim kashat ha'gzela. He's paid kashat ha'gzela. Yalda, in only if it gave birth, but if it didn't go give birth, Hadabene, you just give back the way that it is. I understand according to Rav Zvid that he says Shevach shal gabe gazela nigzal, it belongs to the nigzal, the one that was stolen from. So Rabbi Yehuda, right? According to Rabbi Yehuda, who is it? It's Rabbi Yehuda. But according to Rav Papa, that he says that it belongs to the gazlan. So then who's this? It's not Rabbi Yehuda, not Rabbi Shimon. So it says Rav Papa, hu adin afilu lo yalda, even if it didn't give birth. Also, Keshat Gezela is Mishalem. Now, which we're talking about now that it gave birth, I did the Nasiv Reisha Yalda, since we're talking about the Reisha that it gave birth, Nasi Seifa Nam Yalda, also we're talking about the Seifa that it gave birth. The Tanya Kavaten of Papa, we also learned it according to Rav Papa, but Shimon says, it's still the Kesef, the Metzal Shli Shorovia, that we're going to look at it as if that it's going to be like Kesef, that it's Metzal Shli Shorovia. The Amar Ravashi, and Ravashi says, When we had this question by Rav Kahana, we had this question by the Academy of Rav Kahana. Rabbi Shimon, that he says, do you give him away with money? Or does he take from the basar, from the actual blood? We actually brought a proof. There are three people that we evaluate the appreciation, but we only pay them. We don't give them with the body. Who are these three people? He comes and he says, Bechor upashut, right? Basically, when you have a Bechor and Pashut, so the Bechor is going to pay to the Pashut, right? When they're dividing, meaning you have a Bechor and you have a regular child, and they're dividing the properties. And now if it appreciated in value, so the Bechor has to pay just money. He doesn't give from the field in the appreciation of value. Or a Balchov lelokeach, a Balchov to a lokeach, right? Somebody that he owes money to a person that's taking it, and a Balchov for the Yitomim, and a Balchov for the Yitomim. So Elmaleh Ravina, the Ravashi, says Ravina to Ravashi, Shmuel, the Shmuel say Balchov lelokeach, yiv leshevach, that a Balchov to lokeach, right? He's going to give him the shevach. Shmuel says Balchov govet shevach. A Balchov is going to collect the shevach. So Elmaleh comes and he says, Lakashia, it's not a question. Kan b'shevach magia lektefayim, vekan b'shevach she'en magia lektefayim. What are we talking about now? We're talking about Rav Nachman in the name of Shmuel, that when you have a Balchov, he has to pay for the shevach. He has to pay b'shevach magia lektefayim, which means perot, which are very close to actually to take off, as they say, because mibchina mesuyemet they are considered perot rushim, which are separated from the karka. And here we're talking about shevach she'eno magia lektefayim. Here we're talking about shevach which does not come from the ktefayim. Okay, which means that they didn't finish yet, and therefore they're considered part of the ground, right, itself. So Elmaleh, so he comes and he says, what are you talking about? This happens every single day. Shmuel comes and he actually takes from Meshubadim with the Shevach, and he's taking it even for something which comes from the ground. So Elmaleh, so he answers him like it's not a question. The Malve comes and he was evaluating, right, with the Mocher Karka, like the value of the Karka with the Shevach, with the appreciation. And here we're talking about where he did not actually do that. And therefore there was not going to be a problem. And this obviously will continue as the Hashem tomorrow.